Another exciting time. This Saturday afternoon, the 12th of September 2020. And you know when it's this time? It's that moment for the program that gives voice to grassroots sport in your state. A program that deals basically with sport development as far as your state is concerned. And if needed, a bit further Nigeria. Like we used to say, like I used to say, the bedrock of any great sporting nation is definitely the grassroots. Neglect the grassroots, then there's nothing called sport. Welcome on board to another edition of Sports Drill on Pensioners 106.7 FM. Agbari Gonireke in the city of Ibadan. The Agbalodi of our radio, the first and only labor radio in Africa. I work without playing men's jacket, oh boy, but everything without sports. That makes me the dullest guy ever living. The sports illuminator, Raymond Todulokwe, behind the MIC this afternoon for Sport Drill. What are we discussing today? We're discussing something you might not have heard before. Maybe you've heard about it, or you might never even know that it could be a game, it could be sports. But this afternoon, all you need to do is just sit down, relax, and definitely you will enjoy every bit of today's show. The game, the sport called Kung Fu. The sport called Kung Fu. That's what we're looking at. You might be wondering, is Kung Fu a sport? That was the very first question I was asked by a fan, by a friend. Is Kung Fu a sport? Well, I've got a chairman of your state Kung Fu Association right here seated live in the studio of Pensioners 106.7 FM. The person of Dr. Alo Richard. We're going to explain to us what Kung Fu is all about. And of course, if Kung Fu is a game, is a sport, we'll get to know. These are many more. Let me welcome my guest this afternoon, Dr. Alo Richard. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Raymond.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you for inviting me for this.
Thanks for honoring us, sir.
It's my pleasure.
And how are you doing, sir? Let me start from there.
Yeah, we are doing very fantastic. And I must say this is the first time I'm hearing about pensioner radio, which is a very, very good idea for those who have mooted it. Very soon I'll be one, and that means I have to be listening to the station.
You have to be listening to your own.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Many thanks to pensioners management, just a chapter, definitely for bringing this up. And of course, Dr. Alo Richard is my guest. Before I do introduction about my guest, how have you you cope with COVID-19?
Yeah, coping with COVID-19, somebody said it's an advanced malaria. That's the way somebody put it. And because of my experience, my education, coupled with the fact that I lived with a medical person, that's my wife, we come to realize that COVID is real. A lot of people thought it's not real. Government just want to make money out of it, this, that. But it is real. Very, very real. And the way I cope with it is to keep indoor. I don't attend to visitors. And I come around with my face mask anywhere and anytime I'm out of my house.
Okay, thank you so much for that. You had in Dr. Alo Richard, chairman of your state Kung Fu Association. Okay, who is my guest? Let me do a bit of his introduction. Dr. Alo Richard is from Ondo State, Ilaramoke. born in the early 60s at his primary school at St. Michael Primary School in Laamoke. Of course, secondary school at Anglican Grammar School in Baraoke, all in Ondo State. Higher school certificate at Ondo State School of Art and Science in Kare Akoko. And of course, he went further, getting his first and second degrees from the prestigious University of Lagos, and then an MBA from the Bayero University in Kano. Of course, he's a lecturer at the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and currently the chairman of Oyo State Kung Fu Association. Happily married to his wife, Folashade Ayo, and of course blessed with 3 children. He became the chairman of Oyo State Kung Fu Association on the 28th of April 2017. It was inaugurated on a Thursday. That is my guess. He really went through studies for what I've. But let me see, any omission or any addition?
Yeah, I won't say omission, but the proper way of calling the name is Alo.
Alo.
Not Alo. We have Alo and we have Alo. Meaning full of that Alo is Alo Bioje.
Alo Bioje.
Yes.
What is the meaning of Alo Bioje?
When you say it's a sort of appellation. When you say Alo Bioje, you know what is called Oje. Oje bends. So that means when my grandfather, when he walks, is tall and he bends when he goes. So people now said Alo Bioje, Alo Bioje. That's where the name comes in from. Yeah.
Okay, that is how the name comes in. Alo Bioje. Another knowledge there. I go straight to Kung Fu, which is the main talking point today. We'll look at a lot this afternoon. But then, let me first ask your journey into sports in general, and why Kung Fu?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. My journey through sports started from my primary school. Through my secondary school, I poked my nose into so many sports. When I was in secondary school, I ran through my secondary school life in boarding house. I was into soccer. I was into lawn tennis. Also, when they introduced hockey into our curriculum, as a sport in our secondary school,
okay,
I joined hockey and became the number 2 goalkeeper for my secondary school. Probably it was because of my foster father that I did not go further to, be a state sportsman. I would have played for the state. Yes, but an headmaster, as he used to be then, he never allowed me extracurricular rather than my study. Apart from my study, football. So I've had interest in sport so much. Now to Kung Fu. Kung Fu came my way as what do we call this in research? Serendipity. Meaning this is what you are looking for, and the result at the end of the day, you never planned that was going to be the result. I had a sort of, when I started my PhD in UI, went to the Jaja to take my medical this thing. They realized my blood pressure was high, and what the man told me, do you have the history of diabetes in your family? I said, I'm not sure. He looked at my eye. He said I should not be nervous. After that, he said, okay, you go and do morning exercise for a certain period. Along the way doing it, I saw a gym very close to my house. I registered. At the end of the registration, that was how I later met someone that led me to Kung Fu. And it was after that I really have interest in Kung Fu. How to fight it, but at my age then I couldn't fight.
What year are we talking about?
We were talking about 2015.
Just from 5 years ago.
Yes, we are talking about 2015. That was what led to nominating me as the chairman of Kung Fu Association of Oyo State. Actually, on the day of the inauguration, I was to invigilate an exam too in Abeokuta that day. So I have to send someone to go and stand in for me. And since that time, it's been jolly, especially with my coaches and with the athletes.
Kung Fu. Like I said, a friend, the first question he asked me was, is Kung Fu a sport?
Yes, Kung Fu is a sport, and at the same time, it's a way by which you can defend yourself when there is problem. Though as a professional, you don't have the right to fight outside. So Chinese emanated from, Kung Fu emanated from China. And there is a sort of martial arts. And it's also called Wushu and Kwanfa. That's the name. Kwanfa, yes. It requires patience if you want to fight Kung Fu, or if you want to train to become a Kung Fu man. It requires a lot of energy as well. And at the same time, it takes you to be up and doing, pass through some exercise before you can become a Kung Fu man.
Pass through some exercise.
Yes.
What are some of the exercises you have to pass through?
Yes, some of the exercises you pass through, such as press down, either through your knuckles or through your palm. Then you must do a lot of jogging so as to enable your heart to enlarge. And bring in more oxygen. There are a lot of training. You sit through your back and you cycle, do a sort of cycle. You stand and fold one of your leg for some minutes. Then you in training too, you should be able to make 90 degree, if not 180 degree.
90 degree in what way?
Yeah, you stand and you turn 90 degree without falling off with one of your leg up.
Wow.
And sometimes you should be able to make
180.
If not 360, and still keep standing.
Before we continue, you can join us live on Facebook, Pensioners FM, Pensioners FM on Facebook, or you can listen to us live via our website www.pensionersfm1067.com, www.pensionersfm1067.com. Of course, I have Dr. Alobioje, who is the chairman of your State Kung Fu Association. Yes, let's continue with the game Kung Fu. Let's delve into. We've been talking about the exercises now.
Right.
What Kung Fu is all about, and the skills, the scoring of the games, and so every other thing we need. Listeners need to know about Kung Fu.
Right. Yes, let me start with the skills. The skills in Kung Fu, they are divided into two. You have the Shanshou, which is a combative form, that is, you want to fight. The second one is Taolu. It's a demonstration form, that is, you demonstrate how you want to fight, you gesticulate, how you throw your leg, how you throw your arms. Those are the major two skills in Kung Fu. Then some skills are faster in Kung Fu. For instance, the Shaolin Temple, their skill, they are very fast, whereas in Taishi Temple they move slowly. Yes.
So Shaolin Temple is real.
Yes, it's real. Shaolin Temple.
Because I know a lot of people who watch Chinese movie.
Yes.
That have had familiar with that name, Shaolin Temple.
Yes, you move in a very slow manner, but when it comes to Shanshu,
okay,
that one is very, very fast. Though in movies, you know, there are way with computer you can make a movement to be faster, yes, or to even slow down. But in reality, some skills are very fast. That is Shaolin, whereas some are very slow in fighting. Yeah.
So these are just the major skills.
These are the major skills. Then another skill is, you have to train. Those are the skills you have to acquire.
You needed
this, and you have to build at least the body, your body weight, and you must be able to transverse your legs, because the legs score higher.
Okay.
Although when we get to that, we discuss it. The leg, when you use your leg to hit, is higher than when you use your hand to hit.
Wow, kung fu. Of course, we're still moving forward. Then let's go to the scoring aspect.
All right.
Before the scoring aspect, how is the game being fought?
Yes, there are two categories of fight in
Kung fu.
Kung Fu. The first one is Shanshu. This one involves the use of your hand and leg in combating. You use your hand
And
leg in combating, and it involves different categories. The categories, you have minus 48 kg, that's the way we put it.
Okay.
You have minus 53 kg. You have minus 56 kg as well, and it involves both male and female. So that is how the game is fought. You involve both your hand
and leg.
And your leg. Then another style of the way the game is being fought is called Taolu.
Taolu.
The Taolu is just a sort of demonstration. It involves, demonstrating of different forms of fight, because there are still different forms of fight. I will mention some. It only involves the demonstration, not the real fight. The first one is Nankwam. Nankwam. Then you have the Gunshu. Yes.
I think
all right. Gunshu. Yeah. Then you have the Nandao. You have the Nanquin. And you have the Shankwan. So those are some of the types of fight you have under Taolu. Then
these are just demonstrations.
Yeah, those are just demonstrations. Yeah. Then the above types of fighting, they are the international forms, which is applicable to your state.
Okay.
I mean, those one I've mentioned. And it is also applicable in all national sports festivals. We'll still come to that. And there are some local forms, depending on the type of tempo you belong.
Depending on the type of tempo.
Yeah, you belong. So you can generate it based on your own way, not based on the international standard. But the international standard is for everybody. But along the line, you can bring in your own.
You can create
your own methodology of fighting.
Okay.
Based on your local tempo. Yes.
Local tempo.
Yes.
Let me branch a bit before we go for that balance. Local tempo.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Local tempo means the way you do your thing.
Okay.
For instance, the way of greeting in Nigeria, an Igbo man will wake up and talk to his father. How did he greet? He will call him by first name, John. But in Yoruba land, you wake up, you prostrate for your father. So that's the local.
Tempo.
That's the local tempo. I mean, in Hausa too, a man, we have to kneel down to greet, not actually or squatting. Let me put it that way. Yes. They will squat and raise up their hand to say Rakadedi. But here, you have to prostrate. As a woman, you have to kneel down. So it depends on your local. The way you want it locally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's continue. We're still talking about the fight.
Yes.
And you've mentioned that there are two categories: one for the real fight, the other just
for the demonstrations. Yes.
And so, what other fights apart from those one?
Those are the main fights. The main one and just the Shanu and the Taolu.
Okay. Then the categories.
Yes, I've said it. The category you have minus.
Minus 48.
Minus 48, minus 53, minus 56 kg.
Okay, let's go to the scoring.
All right.
How do they score? Kung Fu. How is the scoring done?
Yeah, the scoring is done in about 5 to 6 ways, and I will mention a point that goes with it. The first one is a punch to the face.
Okay.
When you use your hand to punch the face, Definitely, hand is synonymous with punch. It gives you 1 point. When you punch the tummy, it gives you 1 point.
1 point.
When you kick to the tummy, that is, you use your leg to kick the tummy, it is 2 points. And if you go extra mile, that's why I say you should be flexible. And if you go extra mile to use your leg to hit the head of your opponent, you score 3 points. So that's the way it goes. Punch to the face, 1 point. Punch to the tummy, 1 point. But kick to the tummy, 2 points. But kick to the head is 3 points.
That's a higher technique.
Yes, that's a higher technique. Because normally your opponent wouldn't allow you to go to that extent of using your leg to punch, to touch his head. Then you, along the line too, you get a point when the opponent, when they commit a foul. Example of such foul is kicking the groin.
Okay, the groin?
Yes, if you kick the groin,
point deducted.
Point deducted, 0.5. And if you roll out of the fighting arena,
okay,
you deduct some points from you. Those are the way it is being scored. And these days, it's so technical that when you put on your chest mask or your head cover, everything is computerized. So either the is it the scorer this time around, or those that take the point of point? Yes. If they are not even sure, or they don't know it has really touched the place, the computer does.
That's more of computerized.
IT, yes, computerized sports. Yes.
At the game of Kung Fu. There should be a national federation.
Yes.
And of course, possibly international federation for this.
Yes.
Nigeria
is a member of the international federation.
So what can we have the name of Nigeria's federation?
You mean the name of?
I mean the federation that controls.
Yes, yes, it's the Kung Fu National Federation Kung Fu of Nigeria.
National
That's the one
Federation
of Kung Fu of Nigeria. That's the one that controls the Kung Fu sports in Nigeria.
Okay. Now let me go to this.
Yeah.
Kung Fu, judo, wrestling, karate, they look the same. I mean, almost like maybe listeners want to know. I wish to know similarities and what differentiates all this. I know judo, kung fu, wrestling, karate.
Oh.
They look also the same. I mean, and of course possibly kickboxing too. Those five, they look like familiar. I mean, like a family. But what differentiates each of these sports?
Yes, I will tell you that Kung Fu and wrestling, they are not the same.
Okay.
You might think they look alike. Kung Fu, wrestling, and which other one?
Kung Fu, wrestling, karate, judo.
Yes, the judo and wrestling, they are out of being a family. Okay. Because in judo and wrestling, you roll on the floor. You try to bring the back of your opponent to touch the floor. Or you try to punch your opponent until you can sleep on it and they count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But in Kung Fu, is far
from that.
From that. The only one you can say that is very close to Kung Fu is either the kick, boxing or karate. Let me start with the difference between Kung Fu and karate. When you talk of Kung Fu, it tends to be more circular. You move around a circle. Whereas karate is more linear, straight line.
Okay,
straight line. But when you talk of Kung Fu, you move in circle. Whereas karate is linear, straight point. Kung Fu movement shifts weight laterally. Yes. Whereas, it shifts laterally and it relies more on reacting to your target. That's Kung Fu.
Kung Fu.
Yes. I repeat it again. It shifts the weight of the person fighting it laterally. And it relies on reacting more to the target of attack. Unlike wrestling, you just watch yourself, hook yourself. But here in karate, in Kung Fu, you have to react to your target's attack. It's coming for my head, you block it. It's coming for my tummy, you block it. Whereas karate movement tend to take you forward. You move forward to the person. Yes, with momentum towards your target, towards your opponent. You keep on moving in a linear way. But in Kung Fu, you don't move, you move laterally. You want to block, he wants to block you, and you respond to your opponent's target attack. Because you will probably, I said it, 3 points is for you use the leg to kick the head.
Definitely.
You won't allow yourself.
You want to block.
You want to block the head by all means. It is easier to hit your tummy
than your head.
Why is targeting your tummy? You might be targeting yourself. So it has to be a sort of a reactive form. And in boxing, kickboxing too is linear. You just use your leg to kick your opponent. And it's not strictly at the head or at the tummy. Kickboxing, it might be the shoulder, it might even be the groin. But in Kung Fu, that is not allowed. Those are the differences. They do Kung Fu and Karate, they might look alike, but they are not. Because one, they move linearly, the other one, they move in round form. Yeah.
Understood. Kung Fu. Every someone you just hearing that for the very first time. A lot of people might not even be aware that Kung Fu is even in your state. And definitely that is why Sport Drill is here to look into all these games and of course let you know that these games exist right here in your state and give you information, of course, impact on you. We're still going to come down to your state, talking Kung Fu in your state, the development, the standard, the facilities, and so many things. I'm talking about Kung Fu in your state. But we'll take a quick break. Of course, when we come back, we'll continue with Kung Fu, the sport called Kung Fu. I believe now you know that sport. Kung Fu is a sport. It's not just the one you watch a movie, Jet Li and the like. It is a sport. Okay, let's go for a quick break. And I'll be right back.
You've heard the fans.
Frank Lampard, Andre Iniesta, and Zinedine Zidane. I choose Frank Lampard, Paul Scholes, and John Mikelou.
You felt the tussle.
Yes, went to La Liga where he flourished more. I said he racked up more goals and assists.
Now, it's about to turn into a war.
It's a one league team. What about one team league? One team league. Just Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich and others.
Concerning the start of that penalty.
It's the first ever sports tussle competition in your state. 16 tusslers, one winner. Starting 6th September to 27th of December 2020. First prize 20,000 naira. Second prize 15,000 naira. Third prize 10,000 naira. Fourth prize 5,000 naira. Every Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m. on Pensioners 106.7 FM. Available in Host Raymond Tululope, the Sports Illuminator.
For further inquiries, sponsorship and advert placement, contact Pensioners FM on 090 0906-286-4317, 0906-286-4317, or the Sports Illuminator on 0902-672-1042, 0902-672-1042.
It's the first ever sports tussle competition.
Of course, the heat is on already. The first ever sports tussle competition right here in Oyo State. Started last weekend, last Sunday. And of course, we run through December 27, 2020. 16 tussles. One winner will be crowned. The sports tussle came right here in 2020. Goes down every Sunday on Pensioners 106.7 FM at 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. You have the prizes: first, second, third, fourth, 20,000, 15,000, 10,000, 5,000 naira. The heat is on already, like I said. And of course, if you want to be part, sponsorship, partnership, adverts at 090-2672-1042 at 090-2672-1042. Let's do some business. Okay, we're back on Sport Drill. We got the chairman of your state Kung Fu Association, Dr. Alo Richard. Sitting down, we've been talking Kung Fu. We're coming down to your state now. We've dealt with the skills, dealt with the categories, dealt with various forms of Kung Fu, and so much. Now let's come down to Oyo State. Kung Fu in Oyo State. You became the chairman in 2017. Before then, how do you rate Kung Fu in Oyo State?
Yeah, if you permit me to go straight to probably a brief history of Kung Fu in Oyo State.
Go ahead, sir.
Actually, it started in 2006 in Oyo State.
2006.
2006, with 2 female and a male fighter. Permit me to mention their names.
Go ahead, sir.
The first one among the female is Shika Okwara. The other one is Funke Rufai Osheni, who is now the head coach of Kung Fu. The only male fighter among them was Ezekiel Jita. Actually, where he is now, I wouldn't know. But before I turned out to be nominated as the chairman, I'm sure they've made a lot of impact at National Sports Festival, at different sport competition. They've won gold, though we still come to that as per the achievement. They've won gold medal, they've won silver medal. Even there was a year they were even given a trophy because they have the highest number of gold. I mean, their contribution to the gold that Oyo State has
won.
Yes, theirs was the highest. So there's an office for them in at Adama Singba Stadium, and I will say permit me to thank the governor of Oyo State, Engineer Oluseyi Makinde, for renovating and bringing back the glory of that stadium. Some people, when they talk, they will say, "She sport la fe Jenny," just like when they were beautifying the environment. Sometimes they say, "She grass la fe Jenny." I will tell you, if not for this COVID, Edo State will have known how much they will have raked in terms of sports, of money from sport this year, because they are supposed to host the National Sports Festival. Yes. If not for the COVID and the very volatile political situation there. That was where the stadium was renovated. If you look at the multiplier effect, the contractor that did the job will have made some money. You will involve some local people to come and work at the stadium.
Definitely.
Hotel will make money. Food vendors will come around,
And possibly more employment.
more employment, and those that will make a cap, face cap, t-shirt for it is going to be a lot of money. So why not let's develop this one too? We cannot rule out the possibility, because I was in a meeting with the commissioner for sports. Was it early this year? And there we were discussing with him that why not let us, since Sunday that is from Oyo State, let us put in our head to host the National Sports Commission, the next one after 2020. We never knew COVID will come around. You can imagine if that is done in Ibadan here, the amount of financial empowerment that we bring to our people.
Definitely.
So the same thing with Kung Fu. I used to say one thing, that not that I don't like football, yes. If you put 11 people to play on a final and they won gold
One
medal,
gold.
it's going
Just
to be
one.
recorded as one. And you see the number of people
Like I'm bringing
that
gold.
bring it. So, but if it is Kung Fu, if it is individual, one person a gold.
Gold.
If it is 5 that want to go, five that 5. But
Definitely.
in football, it's going to be 22 plus
The officials.
officials.
Just one goal.
Just one gold. So that's why we need to develop this type of
sports.
games. Even IO, Scrabble, all
The
these
likes.
things, we should develop it, because one is one man, one gold.
One goal, definitely.
Yeah.
Individual games.
Individual games.
So let's move forward to when you became president and some of the achievements and what have been your major challenges.
Yes. I would say probably let me just, before I come in as the chairman, because since I came in, I think we've only went for just one or two competition, and the one we went for was in Abuja, and the other one was in Kwara for youth. In the Abuja, we have 2 gold, 2 silver, and 5 bronze. The one we did for the youth in Ilorin,
Youth games.
yes, we the first one we have 3 bronze, the other one we have 1 bronze, and the latest one, which is 2019, we have 1 silver and 1 bronze. And I will tell you the reason for this is that why it dwindles down.
No.
Most of the youths, some of them are no longer interested in sport. I know one that decided to start riding Okada. Yes, he told me that he has his regular daily income from that place. But they don't know one have to pass through a process. You see the likes of Okosha today, you see the likes of some of them, they pass through such a process. But our youth these days, they are not ready to persevere. They are not
They
ready.
want to start today.
They want to start
and get
today
there today.
and get there today. Now, some of the achievement is that I know I've made is to let the government knows there's a sport called Kung Fu.
The
For instance,
awareness.
yes, but the awareness. Because I was invited to go and see the commissioner, and I made my own submission. Apart from that, I try to, despite the fact that I worked in Abeokuta, I still give time out to come and see them, give them a boost at the stadium. Not 1 time, not 2 times, not 3 times. When they see me, they are always happy. In fact, before the renovation, I've made contact with some of my friends that they should come and advertise their company in front of the office given to us. The problem we have again is that we don't have much training kits. We don't have training kit at all. Like the one for the head, the one for the chest, and even the training turf. We train on bare floor.
Bare floor.
Yes, the training turf is not there. We need that as well from the government or from individuals that can do it. Though I'm working towards that, I just want the renovation to
get done.
Then I bring in some people.
Okay,
that
before we continue, in case of our listeners who want to be part of this, maybe you have a question or 2 for my guest at 090 81 11 10 67, 090 81 11 10 67, or 080 80 10 10 67, 080 80 10 10 67. Of course, you can message me on WhatsApp 090-2672-1042, 090-2672-1042. Okay, now talking about the equipment, the facilities needed, like you said, that has been a bane, the development of Kung Fu in your state. And you're saying, you're trying to get, what have been the response of the government?
Yeah. Response of the government, the government cannot do it. I used to tell people the government cannot do everything all alone. In fact, I got to a point sometimes that I said I'm ready to build a punch bag for them. I just look at it. What's the problem? Punch bag. Is it so? Let's get something, sew it, put either sawdust or we put sand inside and hang it. We don't have to buy. We can improvise. We don't have to buy the original punching bag. It's a thing we can sit down, sew it, then put some sand inside and hang it. Those are the things I think I'm putting in place. As I've said, we are waiting for the completion. When it completes, definitely I bring in some people that, because some of them, they want their children to know to take part in the Kung Fu. And I told them, if you want your children, then you have to contribute some things to make the place comfortable for your children as well.
The floor, yes. That ground, how costly?
I wouldn't know the price. Everything fluctuates these days. I wouldn't know the price.
Maybe not pertaining the price, but then getting that one, how is it impossible or how possible? When I mean costly, is it that expensive?
As I've said, it's not all that expensive, but we can improvise.
Okay.
Which we can do locally. It's just the tough. What I mean by the tough is just to put something like a foam underneath that they'll be able, to move around over it. Or even if it is a very good carpet with a very good underlay, that will do the job.
That will do the job. 090-81 11 1067, 090-81 11 1067, or 080-8010 1067, 080-8010 1067. The game, the sport called Kung Fu. You talk about one of your youth saying where he had to quit the game to go and ride a motorcycle so that he can get daily stipend. Looking at it in that way, how lucrative is Kung Fu? And looking at the welfare of this athlete, yes, I understand the fact that day-to-day running, you might need something in the pocket. That's why I'm looking at it. We might not be able to blame him totally. Yes. Because who knows, maybe he's even the one they're looking at in their home, in his home rather, to put something down, and he has to just improvise. How lucrative is Kung Fu?
Yes. When you are talking about sports, you don't actually talk about how lucrative.
Okay. Like
football, you say it's lucrative, but you have to get a certain point before it becomes lucrative. In Kung Fu, you get to a certain point where people will even be calling on you. You can become a professional, and when you become a professional, there are some clubs in China that can even ask someone to come, more so that you are black, because they believe you have the strength. And you add the technique to it. Actually, that's what most of them use in winning us. They have the technique, but we have the strength. So if you combine your strength and the technique,
then you'll be a world
champion. And apart from that, if you are well known in Kung Fu, you can become the ambassador of any of these big products. It's not only Nollywood actors that will become an ambassador. I'm sure if someone is well versed in this, has traveled wide, and if he has shown himself either in Olympics game or other games, definitely when he comes back home, some of this company can pick up that person and say, come and be an ambassador. And being an ambassador is not a joke.
Yes, definitely.
It's not a joke.
Okay, moving forward now quickly because of our time. Yes, sir. Going away from facilities and equipment and looking at, let's go down to the development of the game. But let me bring this first. What are the programs that have been lying down since you became chairman? Developmental programs that could aid this game called Kung Fu.
Yes, when I became the chairman, my plan then was to create a sort of camp for the athletes, especially to prepare them for National Sport Festival. Number 2, we made it mandatory that every 3 days in a week they will come to the stadium. No, they practice every day, but every 3 days out of those days there is going to be more intensive training. And that's why at least once in a week I used to show up. So when they see me, they are happy. I give them stipend. I will sit them down, give them pep talk, and encourage them.
How many athletes?
For Oyo State now?
Yes.
Yes, in the whole, we have about the male we have 4, and the female we have 5. In the whole of Oyo State.
In the whole of Oyo State.
Yes,
that is just 9.
9. That's just 9, including the coach himself and the assistant coach that normally goes for adult.
Adult competition.
Yes, competition.
All together.
Let me say 12 of them.
12.
Yes.
Okay, 9. Then plus 2, 3 coaches,
yes.
making 12.
Yes.
Are the coaches enough?
Not at all.
You need like how many coaches?
At least we need more than 6 coaches. But because when we have more coaches, some of the coaches can go to some of the secondary school to introduce
these games.
I remember when I was in secondary school, there were, in the old western states, they send someone from Ibadan here. They send someone from Ibadan to come and introduce hockey to us. Can you imagine that?
That's part of the development.
That's part of sport development. But now there are a lot on the mind of the government. As I've said,
they can never be the government alone.
They can't do it all alone. And another appeal I want to make, probably my honorable commissioner for sport will be listening to this, or any other person that listens to this, is that the 2 coaches we have,
let's have the name.
I have Osheni Rufai Funke. She's the head coach.
Head coach, like you said.
And the assistant coach is Iweje Adeleye. Till now, they've not been, how will I call it in civil service? They are just like on
contract,
or not contract really. They need to bring them in fully to the Ministry of Youth and Sport. They are not yet full-fledged
employed.
Just
really part-time.
Yes, they just have to. What is it permanent? They just have to make them permanent.
Okay.
Yes, they just have to make them permanent. And my honorable secretary, Suliat Gaza, she's doing wonderfully well too. I will thank the GM, Mr. Boyega Makinde. He has been wonderful in terms of this sport. I've met him severally, but all his funds are not adequate. It's only in Nigeria that the government pokes its eye into sports. In developed climes, is organization that does that. Then I also thank the director of sports and training, Mr. Tunde Popola, as the same time head of the coach. We have the head of the coach where all the other coaches are also there, and that's Mr. Sulaiman. I have to thank them very well.
Okay, let's quickly talk this before we go.
Yeah.
Is there any competition in your state, Kung Fu competition? Has it ever been organized? Is there anyone being planned?
Yes, for now there is none in Oyo State. All we do is the local training for ourselves.
Okay.
And if we are going to plan, like this year, we had a lot of plans, but unfortunately, the COVID came in. Because by now we'll have gotten some gold from
the National Sports
Festival in
Edo Delta.
In Edo State. Before we go further, let me just read out some of the achievements of.
Okay, let's go.
The first one under the adult in Kaduna 2007, which is championship, we have 2 gold medals. And Kaduna 2009, that's National Sport Festival, we have 1 silver, 1 bronze. In Rivers 2011, which is National Sport Festival, we have 1 gold, 3 silvers, and 1 bronze. In Lagos 2012, which is National Championship, that's where I said we have the best. We coasting a lot of medals. I cannot vividly remember the amount of medal, but that year I think we made 5 gold, and we were given the overall winner. Then in Abuja too, National Sport Festival, we have 2 gold, we have 2 silver, and we have 5 bronze.
That was the last national.
The last national sport.
If with what you've read, I mean, I'm not even going to look in 2012 because looking at Oyo State sports over the years, 8-9 years, so my own little knowledge, it's the first time we're going to have a government that really wanted to look into sport. If they could amaze these medals, now imagine a better development. Imagine, I mean, a better sponsor. Imagine a better facilities. Then that means they will even do more.
They will do more because, as I've said, not so many people knows about Kung Fu, and it's better we catch up with that niche. It's a niche. We put our head into that niche, and we prove ourselves and bring in more medal for the states.
The sport's called Kung Fu. 12:53. Just have a minute or two to go today on sport drill. I've been speaking with the Chairman of State Kung Fu Association, Dr. Alobioje Richard. And of course, so much will be done to get this game up there. The awareness that a lot of people won't be looking at what next to do. And if we have a new set of talent are needed on board.
Yes, new set of talent, and we are bringing them up. For instance, the athletes, the youths we have Mutu Fatai is their captain. We have Sheriff Ogunbanjo, who was a gold winner in the last National Sport Festival. We have Remi Adedokun, who was a gold winner too, and we have Muhyiddin, which we normally call Ladas. Then among the female, these days when you go to church, you have more female. It seems female are trying to get more involved in things. For instance, among the female, we have about 5. We have Iyanu Kiki Oladele, she won a silver. We have Ipera Faith, she won 2 bronze. We have Kende Lojo, she won 1 bronze. We have Shitu Modinat and Taiwo Fatai. And I would say our plan is to encourage them. And how do we encourage them? We have to encourage them by maybe when they come in, what is your educational qualification? What are your plans? And along the line, we can, gather ourselves, help them receive for their GC if they not make it, help them get admission. And after getting admission, help them again, give them stipend on monthly basis. If all this went to study physical and health education, sky is their limit.
It's their limit, definitely.
Sky is their limit.
Definitely.
But most of them, they don't use information. If you don't have information, someone is like a dead fellow.
Definitely,
yes,
definitely.
Like a dead fellow.
Our time is fast spent. We have to go because this year told me I have to be up and doing. Definitely, I wish we continue this even because I feel if we continue now, we still have more to talk about. Yeah. But then we have to say BYE at this moment. I have to say very big thanks to Dr. Alobioje for coming on board this afternoon. And I hope next time, if you are needed, you will be here again.
Definitely.
So how do you rate Pension as a film? Quickly, in 30 seconds.
I told you that I never believed this type of thing exists in Oyo State. One need to move out. When you say my father's farm is the biggest, try another farm. This is, I give kudos to those that have the idea of bringing this up. And I'm sure things you'll be discussing apart from sport is how do you get your pension? Which type of pension this thing do you go into?
Definitely.
And it is fantastic doing this. I thank them very much. They will enjoy their retirement and God will always be with them.
All right, thank you so much for coming once again.
You're welcome.
Okay, that is the size of the package this afternoon on Sport Drills on Pensioners 106.7 FM. I also believe you enjoyed every moment of talking Kung Fu with the chairman of your state Kung Fu Association, Dr. Lobioji Richard. Until next time out, next week Saturday on Sport Drill, I remain a Raymond to look with the Sport Illuminator. Many thanks to my producer, Babatunde Tiamiya, because my DC on duty. Good afternoon, and don't forget to join me 3 p.m. on Sport Total Competition tomorrow. Good afternoon.